Hello and welcome to the Intelligencer. Turkey has agreed to allow Sweden to join NATO after closed-door negotiations between NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg and the leaders of the two countries ahead of a NATO summit in Lithuania. Completing Sweden's accession to NATO is an historic step that benefits the security of all NATO allies at this critical time, Stoltenberg said at a press conference in Vilnius late on Monday. Hours after Ankara's decision was revealed, the administration of United States President Joe Biden announced it will move forward with the transfer of F-16 fighter jets to Turkey in consultation with the U.S. Congress, in what seemed to be a trade-off for Ankara's green light to Stockholm's NATO membership. Ankara sought to purchase U.S. F-16s and modernize the ones it already owns as compensation for its 2019 removal from a U.S.-led international program developing and producing new F-35 fighter jets. Washington sacked Turkey from the popular scheme after its purchase of the S-400 defense system from Russia despite warnings from the U.S. The development led to a bilateral crisis between the two allies and Washington's imposition of sanctions on Turkey in December 2020 in the area of defense under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, CAATSA, the first time such sanctions targeted a NATO member. This made Ankara's veto on Sweden's NATO bid a thorn in an already rocky relationship with the West for more than a year. Sweden and Finland applied for membership in May 2022 following the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Ankara's expectations over F-16s from Washington have been apparent in this process from day one. However, Turkey also sought a general normalization and improvement in its relations with the EU countries and the US in general through Sweden's process, using it as a peg. According to a joint statement released after the talks late on Monday, Sweden agreed to work closely with Ankara to address the latter's security concerns through annual trilateral talks that include NATO. Echoing a similar, unimplemented deal negotiated in Madrid in 2022, Stockholm affirmed that its counter-terrorism efforts would continue after its entry into the alliance. Sweden reiterated that it will not provide support to Kurdish fighter groups, and the organization Turkey describes as the Fethullah terror organization, which is accused of a failed 2016 coup that took hundreds of lives. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan sought to make an example out of Sweden to deliver a message to the West about his concerns over terrorism. Ankara wants to make Sweden change its laws to be stricter on terrorism to have a spillover effect on other Western allies, pushing them to do same towards the groups Ankara considers as terrorists. The joint statement referred to Turkey's frozen EU accession process, with Sweden expressing support for efforts to revive the membership talks. Ankara has been a membership candidate since 2005, and negotiations have not progressed since 2016. The joint statement also saw Stockholm promise to actively support efforts in two areas. Ankara wanted improved modernization of the EU-Turkey customs union and visa liberalization. Ankara has condemned repeatedly the increase in rejected Schengen visa applications by Turkish citizens, demanding visa-free travel for Turks in Europe. EU officials say Ankara needs to work on the bloc's criteria to get the concession and claim that there is no ill treatment of applications by Turkish citizens. Turkey has also sought for years changes in the customs union it has had with the EU since 1996. The EU has not agreed to start talks over the issue despite calls from Ankara and commerce communities in both countries. Before Vilnius, Erdogan linked Stockholm's NATO bid to restarting Turkey's EU talks, a request rejected by Washington and Berlin right away. First, come and open the way for Turkey at the European Union, and then we will open the way for Sweden, just as we did for Finland, he said before he traveled on Monday. Ankara has not made an official statement on the deal yet, and Sweden's NATO entry will only happen after ratification by Turkey's parliament, for which there is no timeline yet. The closed-door deal means the topic is off the agenda of the two-day NATO summit in Vilnius.